Hello everybody, welcome to Cape Rugby TV. It's Wednesday night and, well, I suppose we do bring you the very best of club rugby in Western Province. With me tonight on the show, no strangers to Cape Rugby TV and looking forward to more logs this evening. Donnie Isaacs from Kales River. Hello Donnie.
JP, good evening. Nice to be back again after a good weekend of rough rugby.
Yeah, I'm waiting to find out about the party that you had after the game, more than the rough rugby, because I believe there was quite a lot of action there.
Good. Yeah, good party.
All right, Sean Milford from Hemi, Sharky, welcome, and of course Judge Rugby, as everybody knows you on Twitter.
Hi, thanks very much. It's good to be back. I haven't been here for a few weeks, so it's nice to be back here.
Oh, it's good to have you. And of course we're looking to find out what's happening in Super League A. Now you're of course our Super League A guru. Now Donnie, I suppose you're more zoned in on Super League B, eh?
For obvious reasons, eh?
Yeah, for obvious reasons, yeah. Namely, which we'll go into in a sec or two. All right, folks, let's take a look now at Super League A. Of course, some of the results there. Hammies, 19-16 over Durban. Good win for Hammies. We'll get into that in a sec. Primrose going, well, what's that now? 11 points up over Helderberg, 31-20. Solarians beating Villagers, 78-31. And St. George's going down to SK Warmers. Sharky, let's start off with you. Hamilton's a good win for them over Durban. Durban seemed to be a little bit under par. Donnie and I were talking about this last week, I think. But still, they're a class outfit. They're still the Community Cup champions. How was it going into the game for the guys?
Yeah, very good. The game was moved about a week or so ago, so it was a little bit of a short turnaround. We were supposed to face them at the end of the year. But massive test for both sides. And obviously a little bit of some good banter, you know, first and third in the country playing each other, with Durban having won and Hammies finishing third. It was an excellent game throughout, and Durban came back hard in the second half and kept Hammies scoreless. And we defended our way through to a good win and a great win at that.
Donnie, I don't know. I can't remember what your prediction was on that game, but did you think Hammies was going to take it, or was there any? I know you mentioned last week, like as if you were a gambling man. I think you backed Hammies. Eh?
I mean, in fact, I backed Durban because they came off a loss against Tygerberg, and you know, I sort of figured that they would bounce back and maybe surprise everybody. But then again, remember we also spoke about home ground advantage. Yeah. So I think Hammies maybe just a bit too strong.
Hammies a little bit too strong. All right, let's go there. Primrose 31-20 over Helderberg. Helderberg struggling a little bit, Donnie.
JP, I think it's the same story week in, week out. I don't know what they're going to do, but maybe the performance this week was a bit better, but it was a sort of middle of the table clash. Primrose and Helderberg. I don't know if they got anything out of the game. Hopefully they did, but it's still going to be a battle going forward for the rest of the competition.
And then, of course, Solarians beating Villagers 78-31. Good result for Solarians. They haven't been rock solid of late.
We called that one last week. Solarians at the home ground is a very tough outfit, and I think that was a predictable outcome.
Sharky, I mean, Villagers, a lot of people said Villagers would have been with a chance.
Yeah, you'd think so. They've had an interesting last few years and have pulled it together and been promoted back into the Super A and have sort of been competitive, but I have been struggling in the same sort of sentence. And I know they've gone through a few coaching restructures the last week, if I'm not mistaken. I think Solarians away and Villagers could have gone either way, but I didn't expect to see such a massive difference between the two sides, because
they've just had a coaching change. Gunnar Hughes is now not coaching at Villagers anymore. Troy Lee has taken over, and I believe Warren Edwards also involved there now. And he had a very successful run at Masi Pumulele, I think, unbeaten last year and the year before. Wow. So I suppose, and they just made this coaching change. It's going to take a bit of time for that to have an impact.
Yeah, definitely, and to be fair, Villagers were still very competitive at half-time. I think they were within a score. I can't remember the exact score at half-time, but they were in with a shot. And the second half, the wheels came off and it went downhill. And it's a great result for Solarians. They came with much promise into the league this year, and thought they would cause a few upsets. And this is the kind of rugby that will cause that upsets. And they're going to have a good, strong second half of the season.
Donnie, talking about the second half, Solarians does have a habit of bringing their big guns on in the second half.
Yeah, JP, it's actually interesting. Just coming back to that game, Sharky, I think for Solarians to put up 78 points, it's a big thing, and to defend, and I think it was 78-34, if memory serves me correctly. So I think that result sort of leaned towards the home side. But yes, they've got big guns playing there, like the Earl Rose and Wayne Julies, and these boys normally make a huge impact in the game.
And then, of course, St. George's going down to SK Wilmers, 34-15. St. George's will probably be happy that the margin is getting smaller.
If you lose, you still lose. You know, that's reality.
And, all right, okay. I was trying to be as nice as I could. I mean,
JP, we called it last week. If you want to be in the competition and you want to play well, or if you want to have an objective to win, you have to win the games.
You got to go for it.
You got to go for it. Whether it's about 1 point or 10 points.
Do you think any of the guys are starting to smell relegation?
At this stage, look, there's...
Although we are going to talk about that in your logs, because then we'll have a better idea.
Yes, I think some of the teams still have got quite a few games to go because games was cancelled due to load shedding and waterlogged pitches, etc. So maybe they've got some time to catch up. But the guys that's currently sitting at the bottom of the competition, they might really have to look hard and target certain games.
We'll take a look at that when we get closer to the logs. All right, let's, folks, of course, over the weekend, but we're not going to get into that right now, immediately at least. Let's quickly look at the results in Super League B before we go to our highlights weekend match. Bellville, well, it was... Just a narrow nail-biter for them, losing to Hands and Hearts 29-28. A good win for Collegians, 23-17 over a very motivated Franschhoek United. NNK, as we said, we're going to their game in a sec. They beat Hamlets 37-32. Rateby drawing with Panel Villages. Rangers going down by 1 point to Kales River. Violets 23-27 loss for them against Union Mill. And then Young Peoples beating Macassar 15 points to 8. The game that we went to over the weekend was, of course, NNK up against Hamlets. Both sides having a pretty good season as late. And, well, we'll let you be the judge as you check out the highlight action.
Well, we hope our systems go to place and we're going to put up a good performance.
Yes, I'm ready for action. That's going to be a nice one. It's going to be a corrected move.
No, it was exceptional. Great Cape Town talent at play. Good contest, could have gone either way. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was very exciting, very open game. Otherwise, Hamlets used their backline, but I think NNK they set the platform from the front players, and then they finished from the back.
There we go. Some pretty good action there, Donny. Some nice backline action there.
And speed, JP, speed, and hands, and good hands.
Good
to watch.
That's what they were saying. They said, I mean, we were always going to expect that from Hamlets. We spoke to the guys afterwards, and I really expected that it was going to be the other way around. I expected that it was going to be the Hamlets backline dominating if they got the ball, which was a very 50-50 scenario, and that the NNK forwards were going to dominate. But it was like the other way around.
Yeah, look, I think there's three things that Hamlets does very well. They run, and they run. You know, so
yeah.
if you can stop that, then you're in for a game.
Yeah. All right, folks. Let's catch up with the losing captain and coach now, Sean Robertson, and of course Gavin Passons, the losing captain and coach. Right, folks. I can almost not get the interview started because the Hamlet fans have come all the way down the West Coast. Gavin, when you guys come out to a game, you don't hold back.
Yes, I'm very disappointed in the game. The game could have gone anyway, JP. You know, the score was in the first 25 minutes like 15-3. And we make a few missed tackles and they come back in the game.
Look, I'm smiling because of the fans. I mean, you had the whole crowd behind you today. But tell us a little bit more about the game. I mean, again, I keep talking about your backline and just how dangerous they are, and it showed today.
Yeah, it showed. Yeah, if you take the ball wide, and you're going to see if you come back like in the second half to spread the ball, they struggle to get to the break points, and that's where they put us a bit under pressure, you know.
But the NNK coach Neville was saying, you know, just how strong you guys are up front also. So you got quite a balanced outfit.
Yeah, we are. Even myself couldn't believe it that we stand in the scrums. You know, lineouts was very well.
Yeah.
Was good as well.
Now, in the dying minutes there, it was 30 seconds left. You had you were behind by 9 points. You had a choice to make. You could have gone for the. I mean, you were right in the corner there. You could have gone for the try, but it looked like you decided to go for the bonus point.
Yeah, at least we got 2 points out of the game.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be difficult for other teams to get 2 points against NNK. They're a solid team.
All right, so it's all about thinking through the strategy of the league.
Yeah, but of course, yes.
Gavin, listen, I know it didn't go your way today, but with a crowd like this and, you know, the fans from the West Coast, great game.
Thanks, JP. I hope to see you soon in Mamre.
Definitely. We're just trying to find the right time to come up there.
Okay, thanks, JP.
All right, folks, Gavin Passons. Sometimes it's hard to get Gavin to keep him talking. He's such a gentleman. Right, mense saam met my nou is Justin Robertson. Hy's die kaptein van Hamlets. Justin, it was close op die end.
Dit was JP, so na die einde se kant toe. Die dissipline was 'n bietjie aan die einde 'n bietjie swak, maar albei kante goeie wedstryd.
Ons het in die week gepraat van hoe 'n span 80 minute moet speel. Dit lyk my julle het naby gekom aan 80 minute.
Soos die week die preparation vir die week was geweest. Ons moet voluit gaan 80 minute. Ons kan nie slegs van hulle gaan kom vir ons. Ons het gekom net die einde wat so 'n bietjie die dissipline 'n bietjie so bietjie nie lekker was nie.
En julle conditioning lyk goed. Dit lyk my julle ons is fiks.
Ons coach Gavin, hy op 'n Dinsdag, hy drill vir ons maandag en Dinsdag.
Hy's natuurlik die tipe coach wat baie experience na die game bring.
Ja, hy bring sy ken nie wat opgetel het soos hy aangegaan het in die soos hy professioneel gespeel het. Ploeg weer terug na die klub toe wat eintlik baie goed is. En soos ons jong spelers nou nie ek kan nie, maar die jong ouens wat nou deurkom, hulle leer baie van hom. En ek ook amper besig is om klaar te maak JP.
Ek gaan nou nie sê congratulations op die result nie, maar met jou fans hierso, yes, like it was aan nogal 'n influence. Hulle sê dis amper soos die 16de man.
Ja, JP moet nog Mamre toe kom as JP die ware crowd in JP.
Ek kom binnekort Mamre toe, maar luister, congratulations op 'n great game. Julle ouens het fantasties gespeel en die fans is fantasties. Julle spelers is great. Almal smile. Dis lekker.
Sê baie dankie JP vir Cape TV en hou aan met die.
Ek moet jou so aanhoudend terugtrek wanneer jy kyk so weg van die kamera af. That was great. Okay, ons is binnekort een van die daar bo. Dis net 'n kwessie van wanneer die dag is. There we go.
Ons wag JP.
That's it.
Dankie man.
That's a wrap, folks. I can't talk. Everybody's going crazy. It's been a great day. All right, we'll see you guys in a sec. Then, so it didn't go Hamlet's way, but what a yes. I mean, the guys are still full of smiles there, right, Tony?
JP, there's a great vibe with Hamlet's team. All these years, they love their rugby. They've got passionate supporters, and the supporters always travels with the team, and that means a lot.
Talking about the travelling, you know what I really like to see is that there's more public transport or more buses made available for the teams that are coming out, because I mean that stand was pretty full with fans coming out of Mamre and probably from the rest of the West Coast as well to come and support Atlantis, but. I think that the travelling aspect must be difficult for the guys.
Absolutely. You can just imagine a game, Hamlets versus Peniel. In Peniel, for example, they virtually have to leave the Friday afternoon to get there in time the Saturday. So travelling is a big thing, and you must imagine these guys, they're all working men, and they have to come from work and then get onto a bus and travel.
Yeah,
it's taxing, and that has an impact on the way you play. So you've got to be focused all the time, otherwise you're gonna.
Yeah, it is tough. And I think what a lot of guys do is they kind of share the car. 5, 6 guys in a car, off they go.
That always helps.
A couple of blades in the back.
Yes, absolutely.
But I was happy to see that the guys had designated drivers. So that was pretty good. But a good gears there. The guys were drumming in the. And at the end, I must say the last. I don't know if I mentioned in the interview, they had the choice. They could have gone for a try, but Gavin Passons, their coach, was very. Aware of the log standings, and we're going to talk to you about the logs in a sec, but he was very aware of the log standings, and he knew that if they could get within 7 points, because they were 9 behind, and they could have gone for the 7 and then potentially have waited, Sharky, for another 30 seconds to get the ball and maybe then have, but then if they missed the try, it would have been a gamble and they could have lost by 9 points. Instead, they chose to take the 3 points, they won within 7, they got the bonus point.
Yeah, it's very important, and game management is key. And even if you look at that game, unbelievable game of rugby. Just looking at those highlights, so impressed. The backline skills were sensational. But for a side that runs so well, at least Gavin got them to take the points, because it is important. It's very competitive in the top of the league, and you guys and you need it. So.
Yeah. All right, folks. Of course, the winning captain and coach was, of course, Brendan Grant and Neville Becker. And, of course, the Evox Advanced Nutrition Man of the Match. All that coming up in a second or two after the ad break. Back with you now. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, big thanks there to Belleville Glass, CTC Sports, Evox Advanced Nutrition, Matfin Money Matters, and, of course, as you see behind me, Umzali Civils. Nice to have them on board with Cab Rugby TV and, of course, supporting Cape Town TV. All right, folks, as we said then, Brandon Grant was your winning captain. And he also won the Evox Advanced Nutrition Man of the Match. But we get this interview started with the winning coach, Neville Becker. Right, folks, here at the Jan Burger Rugby Stadium with Neville Burger, is, of course, the coach at NNK. Neville came down to the wire today.
Yeah, JP, it was a really tough game. It went down to the wire, going down to 13 men with a couple of minutes to spare. Really pumps up the heartbeat, and luckily, fortunately, we pulled it through.
Hamlets is known to have quite a running game. I mean, their backs are quite dangerous, and they showed it today.
Yeah, they were fantastic. I think they really showed some good form at the back. We were a bit stronger than them up front. But when they had the ball out wide, they showed the flair, and they were fantastic.
Was that part of your game plan going into the game today, using your forwards?
No, normally my strength is my back, so they kind of caught us a bit by surprise, but I think overall we were happy with the way we played. The guys stuck to the plan, they stuck to the structures, and they believed that we were good enough to go up again, and today was our final hurdle before the break, and I think we were satisfied.
But then that shows quite a lot of positive structure in your coaching structures, and maybe within the team as well, knowing that you could change from a plan A to a plan B in the middle of the game.
Yeah, JP, we put a lot of emphasis in the beginning of the year when the planning starts of a season. And, if you look at NNK, it's a very rich club. If we look at the sense of the players that played here in the past, the stadium we've got, the facilities we have, it's all fantastic. So all the coaches really bought in the beginning of the year. They bought into the plan, and everything just so far is paying off. But you know what? It's a long season. We're going into the break. We've got some really, really tough games coming up. after the break. So we're going to see what happens at the end of the season.
Any friendlies?
No, we've actually withdrawn from a couple of friendlies. We want to give our guys a week break, just so they can spend some time with their family and so on. And then we're going to come back hard and train for the next game.
Lekker, Neville, congratulations, well done, good win.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, folks, with me now is Brandon Grant. He's the captain here at NNK. Brandon, great game.
Awesome. We came here to win it. We wanted 35 points out the first half. That's what the goal I set. We set high standards for ourselves. We got the 35. All the bonus points, we're ecstatic. We couldn't be happier.
What were you guys thinking during the week in terms of Hamlets? Everyone knows they're a dangerous side, and we keep talking about just how dangerous the backline is.
Yeah.
What was going through the players' minds during the week?
Well, we prepared well. We knew they were going to be a threat. I mean, Hamlets have passed. Hamlets at the moment, they're always a great threat. Out wide, they caught us napping quite a few times. Half time we spoke about it, we killed down the gaps, and yeah, we came out on top, so we're happy.
Well, Brandon, I think one of the impressive factors today is, of course, that your coach Neville decided that you are not only today's captain who is leading from the front, but you're also today's Evox Advanced Nutrition Man of the Match. So we're happy to hand over a tub of Mega Grow. We know that you guys are going into the break now, and of course, it's a couple of weeks, and you want to keep your protein supplements high. So I think the Mega Grow is going to help you out.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, you are the Evox Advanced Nutrition Man of the Match. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Lots of thank yous there, folks. We'll be back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, congratulations to Neville Becker there, who has, of course, quite happy with the result as they beat Hamlets, and Brandon Grant, the captain of NNK. Now, interesting, just chatting off air here. We keep forgetting NNK is actually a college side.
Yes, and they've had some great players over the years as well, JP, and I think they've got an exchange program with Scotland, I think. So.
I think they've got 2 guys there that are playing from Scotland, playing with them, and then 2 of their guys go overseas and play in Scotland. And some nice initiatives going on around some of our clubs we don't even know about. But I suppose that's because of the college factor. They can work on the studying and help with accommodation and things like that.
And also stay abreast with rugby developments up north, because obviously these guys, they play rugby at probably for some clubs in Scotland, and we learn from the northern hemisphere what they think, how they play the game, and we learn from those.
Oh, Sharky, you're the Northern Hemisphere European rugby guy. Do we need to learn anything from them?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely?
Yeah, definitely.
Are we that bad?
No, we're not that bad, but if you ignore them at your own peril, I believe. I think defensively their structures are very, very good, and they're happy to win a game 3-0, whereas we call it boring, but it's all about the defense. And just having those exchange programs is great. We've got at Hammies, there's 2 Irish guys that are down. One guy's just joined us, but Paul started a month or 2 ago, and he was playing thirds, and he's in seconds at the moment. And one of his mates come down to join him. So nice little exchange program. And you know what rugby's like. You can go anywhere and join a rugby club and have fun and make great friends that will last with you forever.
Yeah. Donnie, I think you guys got like an inter-club exchange program going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We sort of keep it local. But the question that I've got for Sharky, these players that come from up north, how do they compare in terms of their skill levels, their conditioning? Is it any different to how we prepare?
Yeah, bearing in mind that they've just come off their season, so they in a little bit. Well, even though we're halfway through our season, they've come off their season. So in terms of they're pretty sharp at the moment. Paul's a Lucy, and he gets the work done. He's just a typical blindside. He does a lot of work and gets involved. His skill level's pretty good. It's all relative to where you're getting them from and what sort of stage they're in terms of clubs and stuff out there. But it's great, and how many times we've got guys that went overseas and to work and then ended up playing over there, and have still got mates from there. So it's good fun. I enjoy the exchange program and what's happening.
Fantastic. All right, let's look at the other results then in Super League B. Belleville 28-29 loss for them against Hands and Hearts Collegians, going down to Franschhoek. I think we went through these results already, and so let's move straight into it then. Donnie, Belleville will be shattered with the fact by losing by 1 point against Hands and Hearts, but Hands and Hearts will be chuffed with that result.
Absolutely. You might recall we played Hands and Hearts the week before, and it was a bit of a battle there. We managed to pull that one through, and they had their tails up, and Hands and Hearts and Belleville is always a massive game. And to go to Belleville and win them, whether it's a point or not, it's irrelevant. The win's a win, you know, and it's a good win for.
And then Collegians will be happy with their result over Franschhoek United after. I think that Violet's loss is still stinging a little bit.
They've been on the losing side for the past few games, so I think this win will give them some momentum. They've got a long layoff now with the fast coming up.
Yeah, 9 weeks.
9 weeks,
yes.
So,
week break. Right?
So I think it's good for their morale going into this extended.
This is a perfect opportunity to put on a little bit extra. Well, you've got to get your nutrition plan right, so to speak. If you're going to have a break, you can rest the muscles a little bit, get the muscles recovered. But you know, of course, a lot of guys going into the fast, so the eating plan I think is going to be a little bit tricky.
Yes, JP, eating plan, yes, and the actual rugby playing aspect of that, because you want to sort of stay in contact with with rugby, because after a 9-week layoff it can put you back a bit.
Yep. Well, NNK of course beating going on. Now Wraithby, they drew with Peniel Villages. Now that's I don't know, Sharky, that's a close one, eh?
That's a massive result, and just looking at the fixture at the log in the Super B, that's going to hurt Peniel a little bit, I think, especially looking at how they want to move forward and sort of targeting the rest of the season. But another great game of rugby, it seems, and some good scores getting put up in the Super B. But probably would have picked Peniel to win that game, and I think that's a great result for Wraithby.
Caleb boys by 1 point, Donny, 15-14 over Rangers. Hey, were you expecting a bigger result, or?
No, in fact, JP, I spoke to one of their committee members just before the game, and he said they've got quite a number of injuries in their side. And on our side as well, we've got 9 injuries. So what Kuiper did, he sort of gave the under-20 boys a run just to see if they can make that step up into first team, because we need to test our depth here and there.
Yeah.
But we did not expect to come away with only 1 point in it. But then
Would you say it was almost a mistake?
Could have been.
Could have been.
But as we always say, rugby doesn't have to be pretty, but effective. And I think
a win is a win.
Win is a win.
There we go again. 1 point win is a win. Yeah. And apparently, it's some of your. You said Snaz is out.
Yeah, we've got 9 players.
Taking a break. Or?
No, Snaz is out with.
So I always have to ask about Snaz.
Yeah, he's got a serious hamstring injury. Jaden Alok is out with concussion for a couple of weeks now. Wuka's got a broken nose. We've got 9 players out. You know, so we have to draw on our reserves.
9 players.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah. All right, then of course Violet's going down to Union Mall. Ishmael Dolly will be very happy with that result. Yeah. And then Young People's beating Macassar 15 points to 8. Remember, folks, CTC Sports is our apparel supplier to Cape Rugby TV. You can get yourself a set of jerseys for as low as 4,000 Rand. Shorts for just 74 Rand. Tracksuits for 280 Rand. Very, very good price on a set of tracksuits. So if you're looking for a tracksuit there, 280 bucks. And those bomber jackets, you would have all seen those bomber jackets that keep you nice and warm on the side of the rugby field, only 260 Rand. All right, embroidery is, of course, something that you can think of, and CTC Sports can help you with embroidery. And don't forget, you can embroider things like your club badge, or even have a vinyl stickers put onto the jersey, like, for example, the numbers, all of that at CTC Sports. So you can check out CTC Sports at www.ctcsports.co.za. Get hold of the guys there, and you can get all your rugby apparel from CTC Sports. All right, folks, let's take a look at the results in Super League C now. And it was LCS Rafir going down to Silverleaf, 29-32. Goodwood beating Strand, 29-16. Paul losing to Massey, 34-22. It was a win for Kraaifontein. And Young Stars beating Noordelijke, 66 points to 16. Donnie, LCS would be a little bit disappointed with that result. Close call.
Absolutely. Look, that's a huge derby game in LCS, Silverleaf and LCS Rafir. And I think they would have wanted to really test their neighbours, but I think Silverleaf was just too strong on the day.
Yeah, Goodwood, I'll be happy with that result. Beating Strand, I mean, Goodwood getting stronger.
Absolutely. I think, looking at those results, even Kraaifontein, they can be happy because they had an away game against Strand. Then it's difficult travelling to the Strand, but they also pulled that off. And obviously Massey, good 34 points.
All right, let's look at the City League now. Busy Bees 32-7 over Temperance. Kelly's beating Tech 18-7. Hamadias beating Manenberg Rangers 13 points to 12. That was close, but Hamadias at least will be happy with that result. And then Western Zebras 11-10 over Progress, and Young Ideas 59-17 over Perseverance. In the Southern League, of course, the wheels keep turning as Bishop Labours beat Titans 25-12. Eerste Rivier 31-14 over Young Wesley's. Richmond Rangers going down to Laguna, 48 points to 12, and then Thistles drawing with Peninsula. While in the Northern League, it was Khayelitsha with a win over Van der Stel. Carlamore beating Strand Pioneers 50-20 and Whistling Wheels 20-13 over Blakes. In the Paarl, Albions 21-20 over Young Gardens. Riverstones going down to Paarl Rangers 22 points to 6, and Vineyards beating Simondium 23-20, while Violets Paarl 71-5 over Peril United. Folks, we're going to take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the logs. And we'll ask our man Donnie Isaacs to guide us through the logs and tell us about some of the intricacies within the log positions. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. Don't forget, our keen supporters, Glass, of course, supporting Cape Rugby TV, and CTC Sports, Umzali Civils, Evox Advanced Nutrition, and Matfin Money Matters. All right, Donnie, I know you've taken a close look at the logs. Take us through it.
Right, folks, it was round 10 of the competition, and nothing has changed in the Super League A. We've got Hamilton's on 44, and the top 5 is still unchanged. Stellenbosch, UCT, Falsbay, and SK Warmers. And the bottom 3 is also unchanged, with UWC, St. George's, and Helderberg on 1 point. Super League B, nothing has changed. There was some movement in the middle of the log.
In fact, Donnie, why don't we just pause there for a second, and then we'll go on to Super League B. Your vision, yeah, if we look at Super League A, Hamilton's now, I know we've got Sharky here with us. Hamilton's sitting on the top of the pile there. They've had 9 points. I mean, if you look at Super League A, and we were talking about that promotion relegation scenario where the guys are kind of getting a taste for it. What's your sort of snapshot feeling on what's happening in Super League A?
I think there's probably 4 teams that really need to have a look at their log position at the moment, JP and Sharky, and it's Helderberg, St. George's, UWC, and obviously we know that that Victorians, they've got some games in hand, but they form the bottom of the competition there. And if you think about it, there's not that many games left in the second round.
Well, if I look there at Primrose, they've played 10 games already. Do you think they'll be a little bit concerned? Because that means that some of those bottom teams can play a bit of catch-up.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you've played 10 and you sort of with 17, 16, 15 points, then you should be worried. Then you need to target some games and really get maximum points out of those games. Otherwise, you might be found wanting at the end of the day when it comes to the crunch time on the logs. You
got any feelers here yet of who might take this league?
Well, at this stage,
too close to the top.
Look, if like I said, JP, last week, if you want to win the competition, you have to win every single game. That it's going to come down to that.
All right, folks. Donnie, take us through Super League B.
JP, well, if you look at the B competition, nothing much has changed apart from 3rd and 4th, where Milnerton and Hamlet swapped places, but Kuilsriver still topping the log at 30 with 38 points. And we've got a new bottom 3: Franschhoek United, Rangers, and Macassar on 10 points.
All right. When you say a new bottom 3, I mean that bottom part of the log there, from 15 all the way up to 11, they're all on, even up to 10. They're 13, 12, down to 10 points. Wouldn't you look at it as more like a bottom 5 almost?
JP, I think if you look at the last week's games or the past week games, the results were so close, and that had a terrific impact on the Super League B log in general. Let's look at the bottom.
How much of a problem do you think Rangers has got here? They've already played 10 games.
Well, they dropped two positions.
Yeah.
So that is a problem. You know,
okay.
Rugby dropped two positions because of the draw. Macassar dropped 2 positions. Collegians moved up. Young People's moved up. Violets, because of their loss, they dropped a position. Peniel Villages, they were in the top 5 last week because of the draw against Peniel. They dropped 2 places.
You know, speaking to Sharky there in the Super League A about how close things are between Hamilton's and Marty's, who are going to play a bit of a catch-up. We've almost got a similar scenario here, because if you look at Union Mill, they've played 6 games. They're 2 games in hand if compared to Kuilsriver. And I'm going to compare it to Kuilsriver because obviously you guys are at the top of the log.
Yeah.
But Union Mill will be thinking to capitalise as much as they can now to try and get 10 points out of each game and get back to the top of the log.
JP, the key is going to be 10 points. Every team that's got games in hand, they need to really focus on getting a bonus point. Now, we always say get the win first and then the bonus point. This is going to become slightly different because you really have to work towards that bonus point, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I tell you, the one thing that's key, you talk about bonus points, not only winning bonus points, but losing bonus points is massive. And just discussing that Hamlet's NNK game, for them to take a point out of that game and it keeps them in contention, it's massive. It's an excellent work.
Good coaching decision to take.
Very much so. And even though NNK mentioned that they were down to 13 men, I'm not sure how much time was left. But to get a point out of that game, to keep them in the fight is massive.
It was down to the seconds. Let's take a look at Super League C.
Right, looking at the C competition, we've got Kraaifontein still topping the log with 40 points. Then Goodwood, Elsie's River United, Scottsdene and Young Stars. And at the bottom, you've got Silvertree, Stellenbosch Coronations, and Noordicus still yet to score. Your
feeling on that one, Donnie, on the logs there? It looks to me like those top 4 teams, at least the top 3, Kraaifontein, Goodwood, and Elsie's, are going to want to keep up the momentum.
Absolutely, JP. Just for our viewers' sake, nothing has changed in terms of the log position of all the clubs. The only change was that Strand dropped 1 position, and Young Stars crept up 4 positions because of their win. So I think Roger will be pretty happy with that. So everything went according to the results.
Okay, so Kraaifontein, Goodwood, those top 3, looking at that 9-8, and they're a little bit ahead of the rest. They want to go. They want to secure that position now.
For sure, even a team like Elsie's River United, they can kick themselves because that was a good opportunity to pull a win off against Silverleaf, and then it would have put them much higher on the log, at least with 34, 35 points, and then they would have been in a better position.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. All these other teams that still got that's lagging behind, they might have to play catch up.
A little bit of catch up there, folks. We'll take an ad break, and we'll catch up with the regions. Back in a sec. Right, City League time it is. Donnie, in your hands.
Well, JP, City League, nothing has changed from last week. We still have Busy Bees, Caledonian Roses, Hamadias, and MIT Rangers forming the top 4 there, and your bottom 3 is still the Western Zebras, Temperance Cities, and Perseverance. So nothing has really changed from last week.
So if I look at that, 11 points, 10 points, all of the guys in that league have played either 10 or 11. They've had a consistent run of games. So very equal in terms of, you can't expect any. The maths almost is clear.
Absolutely. I think if you and like you said, JP, if you're sitting on 11 games with 10 points, then it might going to be an uphill battle for you going forward because you're virtually almost at the end of your season.
All right, the next league is a little bit more interesting. Take us through the Southern League.
Right, the Southern League, we've got East River topping the table with 39 points, then Lagunia, Rocklands, Peninsula, and Thistles forming your top 5. And at the bottom, you have Bishop Lavis, Titans, and Richmond Rangers, and the -2.
Who do you think can jump in the Southern League? It looks a little. We've got to take Richmond Rangers out of the picture here, obviously. But if you look at those played and win ratios, who do you think can make a move?
JP, first and foremost, importantly, if you look at the log leaders, they're on 39 points, and the bottom there's quite a huge gap. In the middle of the table, a team like Young Brothers, they've got a game or 2 in hand. They can still move up the log there. Maybe Retreat if they pull off some good wins. They've got 2 or 3 games in hand.
Oh, they've got 3 games in hand still, yeah.
Yeah, so those are the guys that can maybe, if they pick up good wins, can possibly move up the competition there.
All right, let's take a look at the Northern League.
Right, your Northern League, we've got Finnestel still topping the log there with 38 points. Calmore, Blakes, Blue Stars United, and All Saints. And at the bottom, we've got Imikawi, Strand Pioneers, and Delft. And that is still the same as last week, so no real change in the competition there.
Finnestel and Calmore must be thinking about each other right now, eh?
Absolutely. Calmore, they joined on 38 points with Finnestel, so lots to play for. They're just down the road from each other, so I think that's going to be a good head-to-head.
This loss for Finnestel over the weekend would have been really burning them, shocking. I don't know.
Yeah, massive. I was just having a look at that log, and it's pretty tight.
Yeah.
And the importance of bonus points is key because Calmore have one less game by the looks of things.
Yeah, just one game there.
Yeah, so there's bonus points in there, but Finnestel can't be happy with that loss because that would have moved them clear.
Yeah, right. Donnie, take us through the Par League.
All right, JP, your Par League, we've got Vineyards on 42, which is quite a substantial lead. Lower Paul, Allendale Violets, and Simondium, your top 5, and your bottom 3, Young Gardens, Windmill United, and Paddle United at the bottom of the competition.
All right, so what jumps up for you in Par League?
Three teams: Simondium, Young Standards, and Young Gardens. There was movement with those 3 clubs. Simondium moving up 1 position, Young Standards dropping 1 position, and Young Gardens also dropping 1 position on as opposed to last week. So the bottom 3 is now Young Gardens, Windmill United and Parel United.
Right, folks, those are your Donny's logs. Okay, so it looks like we're not going to have logs for a while now, considering we're going into the break. Donny, on the log thing, I mean, we're going to obviously not have your logs for the next couple of weeks, but what will the clubs be thinking? Do they just put this on the back burner and not think logs for the next couple of weeks?
They absolutely have to think about the logs, JP. Although it's a 5, 6, 7 week breaks for our Muslim colleagues, the teams still have to prepare for the second half of the competition. You can't just have no rugby at all. I know there's some friendly games coming up. With Kelzer, for example, we're taking a tour down to Heidelberg just to keep the guys into the rugby mold of things. But you cannot just not play or be involved in any kind of contact over this period.
Tell us about your tour.
We're touring down to Heidelberg for the weekend, next weekend, and we've got 3 teams playing against Heidelberg, and the guys are going to use that.
Heidelberg or Heidelberg?
Sorry, Heidelberg.
Yeah.
So they will use that as an opportunity just to gel again and focus on what we've accomplished or what we should have accomplished the past or the first half of the competition, and what is needed to come up tops.
Is Heidelberg stopped playing? I thought that they were, weren't they suspended for a while?
Yeah, that was about 2-3 years ago, but
it's a while back.
yeah, it's a while back. And look, we're looking forward to the tour. It's more of a building session for us again to focus and.
It's more of a party session, eh?
You might call it that.
I just have to know, are you taking your karaoke machine with you?
In fact, he's there Thursday evening already.
Oh, really?
So we're coming on Friday morning, and he's going to be there. So
you guys love this karaoke thing at Kelsriver.
Yeah, it's called Who Let the Dogs Out.
Who Let the Dogs Out? I don't know. Good thing Randall Abrams from Idols isn't there. Have you even thought about that? All right, Jacques, I mean, when do the guys on your side, how long is the Hammies break?
We've got 5 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. We've obviously got Derby this weekend, which doesn't really fit as a league game, but we've still got games. But I think it's an important time. You know, you can look at it 2 ways: a good or bad. But for the guys that are battling relegation or the guys that really need to take stock and focus, this is a great opportunity for the coaches to get together, work on a game plan, fix and change what they need to do, and then they've got enough time to implement that and get the players to buy in heading into the second half of the season. I think that's key, where the guys are looking, where they've got to cherry pick a few games that they need to win, or they need to fix certain defensive frailties and sort out their attacking game, or whatever the case may be. I think it's a great opportunity if they've got the focus and they know what they need to do. It's a great time to implement it. So it couldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
Villagers up against Hamiltons. I think you guys are playing at home. It's a home game derby for Hammies?
Yes, we've got home ground advantage for this derby this year, and we're looking forward to it. We had a great little warm up on Sunday with the family day and a Poiki comp.
How did that go?
It was great. It was unbelievable. We had about 9 teams competing. We had a little chipping competition and jumping castle.
Surely not on the field.
It was. Everything was on the field.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but don't tell them about the chipping competition.
You don't really take any divots out of it. Yeah, no. I mean, you see Donny's divots.
We weren't good enough to take divots. It was just more hitting it thin. So.
I suppose you could put a little grass mat down there and a little chipping competition. The 2 oldest clubs in the country, though, Hammies and Villagers.
Yeah, there's some say a year, some say 6 months between the 2, but 2 oldest in the country. And
well, I know Dave Kagan will argue that with the photographs and the black and whites and all that. Donny, have you guys thought about doing a chipping competition at Kelsriver? I mean,
no, we leave that for Gray. He's the hard golfer, so we try and stay away from that.
No, right then. Of course, Belleville Glass is a supporter to Cape Rugby TV, and we thank Gray and the guys from Belleville Glass for supporting the show. Right, folks, of course, it's not completely no action over the next couple of weeks. It will be the mid-season friendlies that are coming up now, and there'll be a couple of knockouts there. Of course, let's take a look at that. False Bay are up against Blue Jets. They're playing in Khayelitsha. Goodwood are playing against Strand in the Strand, and then the Paarl Rugby Club are up against Belhar, playing at Fora. Normal kickoff time, that's at 3:30. And then, of course, they will go into a knockout after this. So the next 3 weeks will be the semi-finals and the finals, as we see False Bay, Blue Jets, Goodwood, Strand, and the Paarl Rugby Club and Belhar from the Super Leagues take each other on. So a nice little mid-season tournament. Then, of course, after that, starting from the 4th of July, you'll see the regional start. But let's take a quick look at that. False Bay up against Blue Jets. Donnie, we might have a bit of a mismatch here, but still giving the guys a bit of a run.
It's a good opportunity. First and foremost, I would like to know who did the draw for those games. But then again, like I say, it's a good opportunity for the Jets to measure them with against a Super League club, and they can learn a lot from a club like Jono and his boys. Yeah.
I mean, False Bay are not going to go out there. They're going to give their second team guys maybe a bit of a run. Think a little bit strategically around this one.
Absolutely. Look, it's still a competition, and I don't think any team will go into any competition not wanting to win it. Although it's in Khayelitsha, Jono and the boys will go out there and really want to pull that one off. But then again, it's a good opportunity for Blue Jets also to show what they're worth against the Super League.
Sharky, so, guys, if you've got players with potential, maybe a little bit of niggle, a little bit of an injury, give them a break.
Definitely, good opportunity to do that. It's also a great time to test out a few other things, whether it's under 20 players or there could be someone in the third team that's been putting his hand up. It's a great time to kind of really mix the club together, and also it's a good opportunity to build the club. Giving guys different chances and tastes of rugby in the first team or playing in a more competitive game.
And if we look in the Super League A, then Belhar will be looking for a similar scenario.
Yeah, I think Belhar would want to use that game to gain some momentum, although there's a break. But they've also had a bit of a up and down.
They're playing against the Paul Rugby Club, so it's not one of it's that combined team again, which is
the region.
If I understand it correctly,
team.
yeah. So that's not going to be easy by a long shot. If I have that correct in terms of
was that not part of the president's?
Yeah, it was part of the community challenge.
In the beginning, the PAL region. And did Belhar also played in that as well? So
yes.
They've got a bit of history there, so there might be a little bit of a good game.
We've just got to confirm that, though, because we have lower PAL and we obviously have PAL Rangers.
Yeah.
We've just got to get a confirmation on that.
That is the team that played against the Vodacom Cup side last
year. Yes,
that's right.
Yeah, they played on the Wednesday, and then I think they lost against.
If that's the case at JP, I think it's going to be a very good contest.
Yeah.
And I would want to use that opportunity maybe just to sharpen up a few things, and I think
use it as a proper game.
Yes, and Mark.
But remember, then there's still, of course, the week 2 and week 3, which is going to be the semis and the finals as well. So there's going to be some tough games.
Yes, and I think Mark Willard would want to use those games to sharpen up, because once you start with the second round of the competition, you want to be sort of have all your ducks in a row and be ready for the second round.
Yeah, fantastic. And then, folks, let's move on now. We look at the Super Brew pool. Cape Rugby TV Super Brew pool. Mansell, Lucky Boy, Tony George, Wilding Bat, Rocky, Gerard, Chris Lamack, Scorpion, Mr. C, and Divies. Of course, those are your top 10 in the Cape Rugby TV pool. This coming weekend, it's the Super 15 playoffs. It's the Highlanders up against the Chiefs. They're playing in Dunedin. And then the Brumbies are up against the Stormers. Kick off at 5 o'clock at Newlands. All right, folks, let's quickly talk Super 15. We've got 2 minutes left. The Highlanders and the Chiefs. Donnie, how do you see that one going?
Chiefs.
Chiefs, eh? All right, then. Sharky, yourself?
I think the Highlanders will take that. I think the Chiefs have been there and thereabouts, but the Highlanders are very strong at home, and they should take it. But you never know. It's knockout rugby, and the Chiefs are pretty good there.
I don't know. I've always kind of had a feeling there for the Chiefs, but the Highlanders have surprised me a few times this year. All right, and of course our home boys, the DHL Stormers, are up against the Brumbies. They're playing at home. We had a bit of a debate beforehand, but I know all three of us are supporting the Stormers. But nice to see, Donnie, nice to see the Stormers come through the entire tournament. They win the South African Conference by hands down. And now it's the Brumbies at Newlands.
Absolutely. I've been in conversation with Chippy last night, and obviously if they win this game on Saturday, they're going on tour, then they'll be on the road for 2 weeks, because should they win down in Australia, they have to move to New Zealand to play the final. So
they've got to get on the plane straight away.
Absolutely. Sunday morning, bright and breezy. So
it's a make or break, eh?
Stormers all the way, I think.
Stormers all the way. Sharky, you think the Brumbies could be a bit of a challenge?
I think up front, their tight five is not as weak as some people perceive it to be, and I think the Stormers need to be hitting their straps hard early on. If they can do that and create the platform, I think their backs have got what it takes. And the Stormers' backs have been feeding off scraps and doing well in that. So if they can unsettle the Brumbies, they'll do well.
Fantastic stuff, Donnie. Isaacs, thanks for joining us. We're going to miss you now with Donnie's logs. We don't know what we're going to do for the next 4 weeks without you.
JP, thanks for having me. It's I was actually looking forward to do some more logs, but there's a break, so I think I'll enjoy the break.
Perfect timing. Eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Sharky, thanks for joining us, and best of luck, Villagers against Hammies at the Derby. I know it's going to be Wow, it's a world-class event.
Oh, can't wait. It's good times, and I'm going to be putting on the jersey and having a run, no doubt. So it'll be good to be back on the field.
Fantastic stuff. Sharky's having a run on the weekend. Right, folks, that's a wrap from us. Don't forget then the mid-season friendlies. Of course, it's False Bay Blue Jets, Goodwood, Strand, and then, of course, the Par Rugby Club up against the Belhar. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. We'll see you on the weekend. Bye-bye.